Good morning guys, just here in the shop. Just finished heat treating or hardening a batch of knives. They're in the oven here now baking away. But we're going to fire up the chainsaw, or we're going to attempt to. Now this chainsaw right here is one I just acquired this weekend. Now my first chainsaw that I've ever had for myself is this little MS-211 that I inherited from my grandfather when he came down with dementia. A man who spent, countless hours in the woods of his life, just loved to cut wood, really loved it. We've talked about this saw before, I'll try to link this video, but and ran bigger saws and stuff, but in his later days he bought a new saw not long before his mind went and barely got to use it, and so my dad inherited it and passed it on to me. Thought I would appreciate it, and I really cherish this saw. I don't use it real often, but I use it a little bit and I really like it. It's a nice little saw. It's MS-211 35cc. Now this chainsaw right here actually belonged to my father, who used to work along with my pop. They worked together up in Nova Scotia, a company that I believe they were clearing for power lines. So my dad worked at that for quite a few years. I would have been just a boy when he bought this saw. This steel, this is a MS-230, which now the name has changed to the 250, but I believe it's essentially the same saw. But this saw got ran, hasn't been really run for a lot of years now, so he used it while he worked up there, and then I think he kind of retired the saw. So I would guess mid-90s, but this saw is far out of maintenance and tuning, hasn't been used or kept up in a long time. Like I said, it's been mostly retired. So I was really happy to inherit it. Me and Dad did a bit of a barter type deal. I've been wanting a bit of a bigger saw. Now this is not a big step, but it is a little step up from that 211, which is a little small yard saw. So this is a bit of a step up to a bigger saw, which I've been wanting, something bigger. Also, this saw offers a little bit of a project, tuning it, getting it back up to spec. And the saw also offers some sentimental value, since it was my dad's, since it was a different time in Dad's life when he worked in the woods. It's been a long time ago. Bought back when I was a boy, so I'm excited to have this saw. See if we can get it going. It's never had any problems starting. I don't know how old the gas is that's in there. We're not going to put in a lot because we're probably going to drain out that gas. You can clearly hear that this saw is just not getting it. Now there are a few reasons for this. It could just be that the saw is out of adjustment, but that would lead you to wonder why it's out of adjustment. The saw hasn't been picked at, so did the saw run itself out of adjustment, indicating a bad or worn out carburetor? Or is it not getting fuel because the system is dirty and clogged up and hasn't been maintained? Maybe it's just gummed up. The carburetor's gummed up from sitting. We're going to find out. I may put this measuring guide on the back after, I'm not sure, but for right now, it's a nuisance to me. It's in the way, so it's coming off. Just have a look here, down inside the air intake. Ooh. Just gonna pick apart a couple things here just so I can confirm part numbers and get a few parts on the way. some beautiful, beautiful brake cleaner. Man, I love brake cleaner. Now we can see what we're looking at here. Looks a whole lot newer with a little cleaning. Got another couple minutes tonight, guys, just a little bit before bed here. And I'm going to pull the caps off of this carb. See if we can blow it out. Blow out any passageways, clean it up. The gaskets on there don't look incredibly dry or anything like that, so I don't think I'm risking tearing them up. Should be able to read.
As a full-time knife maker and craftsman, it's very beneficial for me to have little side projects like this to work on and pick at in my spare time.
Well, she's dirty there.
My creative work that I do can get monotonous, and it can really have a toll on me mentally and physically. So having something like this that's a little bit of more of a challenge on the side, or just a little break project just to break up my day, really helps keep me happy and keep my creative juices flowing.
If I can rebuild and tune a 4-barrel quadrajet, should be able to handle this little thing. Looks reasonably clean. That is one tiny little jet. Not particularly dirty, so unless the adjustment points are wore out, I see no reason why this should be causing us grief. May just be way out of adjustment. Could very well be. Dirty fuel filter in the tank.
We've cleaned the carburetor, blown out the air filter, and now we're checking the tank gas inlet filter. We're just going to exhaust all options to make sure the saw runs properly when we fire it up again.
Again, not particularly dirty, a little bit of grit, but it's okay from the outside.
At this point, we should know that air and fuel in shouldn't be a problem. Is there an exhaust issue? Is there a fire issue? We'll find out soon.
Quick test fire, just so we see if we can get it to do anything.
These little engines are very simple, and I was starting to figure out that it just wasn't going to catch. There are only a couple options to address here now. Either it's not getting enough fuel, it's getting too much fuel, or that fuel is not getting burnt for some reason.
Won't start pretty much at a time tonight. Just pulled the plug out. The plug was pretty wet with gas. Nothing metal there where I can ground the plug.
An easy way to start knocking out those issues is to pull the spark plug. Is it dry? Is it wet? Is it firing at all?
My brain says this should work. Herbert Wingfield will be sure to tell me. Yep. We have fire. Throw in a little bit of prime. Bought a big bulk pack of these little mini syringes, mainly for leatherworking, mixing dyes and stuff, but very nice for stuff like this.
So we confirmed our spark plug does have fire. The plug was wet when I pulled it out, so you'd think it would burn unless there's just too much fuel for that plug to ignite.
water and fuel. That's it for tonight, friends. Out of time.
We couldn't get it to start tonight, but we'll try again in the morning. The fact that it fired up after sitting overnight lets us know that our cylinder was probably flooded. We just had too much gas in there for that spark plug to ignite. Now, after the work we've done, I haven't done any adjustment with the carb from the very first clip we saw the saw running in the video. That means the way it was running was likely due to a dirty fuel system and not poor carburetor adjustment. Even still, we'll adjust to get it running just right.
Just give it a hot start real quick before we go back to our knife work and see if it's running properly. Beauty. Got another quick break here, so I'm going to take a few minutes and start breaking down a few of the components on this thing. Now that we've got it running, I'm going to start cleaning it up, and it is a mess. Good corner mounted vise like this sure is a good thing.
Now that we have the saw running properly, we can move our focus and attention to getting the saw looking a little better.
Let's see how the exhaust is doing here. It's a pretty clean spark arrestor. The rings and everything look clean as a pin from this side. From the other side into the carb side to the intake side, everything looks pretty clean as well. You can see the piston, you can see on top of the piston, looks pretty good.
hoping we can clean this up. There's a lot of goop in through there. See if we can clean it up, make it look good. This will really change up the look. Oh, that looks a lot better. Not perfect, but for a 20-plus-year-old saw, I'd say that looks real good. I wire wheeled this on the bench grinder. I could have painted it with like a matte black, like a high heat paint, but I just really love this old kind of blued finish. Thought it looked really pretty, so I'm just gonna keep it like that. We can always change it in the future if we want, but I just really like that look. Just finish scraping this one out. A little bit of acetone really works wonders on saw grime, tree sap and things like this. Acetone just really cuts it easy.
What do you think, my old friends? Really tickled about that. I love the real square bodies of the steels. Just looks so handsome. My small one there doesn't have that. It's all rounded and nice. Really happy. Cleaned up really well. Now we got to get on to sharpening up that chain. Now, I'm far from an expert on hand filing, but I'll let you know, I really do love hand filing a saw. I guess when it comes down to it, I just like sharpening things. I like making tools sharp. Let's see if we can get her to run today. Project complete, if so, if she's running smooth today. Little slack, but not bad. Let's see. Well, I'd say that's a success. What do you think? I'm far from a sawyer, a professional sawyer in any way. No connection with the arborist field. I just have a family that has always cut wood or been around the woods. And of course I like being in the woods myself. Although I don't get a lot of time lately, but hopefully this will drive me back in. I've been talking to Dave. We're going to see if we can get in and get a few loads of wood so we'll get this saw in action for you guys very soon. Thanks so much for watching this project. I'd appreciate if you'd subscribe, hit the like button, leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think of this project. And if there's anything else you think we should do, any comments on the work or something you think I could do to add to this saw, I'd love to hear your input. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.